Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, I am going to be making Olive Garden's famous Zuppa Toscana soup. This is a personal favorite of mine. You don't really need a whole lot. This is more of something that you can just whip together. I usually make it in the Crockpot. This is something that I will put together before I'm heading out the door, so we've got something to look forward to when we get home. So let's get cooking.
High and low, in between, acting out, make a scene, working on our body like
I start with cutting up 3 large potatoes. Depending on the size crock pot that you have, you may have to go with a little bit more or possibly a little bit less. I just know the size of the crock pot that I have, and 3 large potatoes is more than enough. You'll see that I'm cutting the potato slices in half. This is so that the potato cooks more evenly when it's in the crock pot. I've actually thrown the slices in without cutting them, and it just didn't turn out the same. There were parts of the potato that didn't cook all the way, so I've just learned to go ahead and take that extra step to slice them in half before you throw them in the crock pot. I'm going to go ahead and start chopping up the onion now. I don't know about you, but I cry every time that I chop up an onion. So if you have any tricks, please let me know. Chopping up onion is the worst thing for me when I'm cooking. And shout out to Price Mortgage for this awesome cutting board. Price Mortgage is one of the premier mortgage brokers in Arizona in the Southwest. They pass their wholesale rates and pricing directly to their customers, and they never charge any underwriting, processing, or application fees. I have been referring Price Mortgage to all of my clients since I started in real estate in 2017. I've even used them a couple of times on my personal properties. They are by far one of the best mortgage brokers in the state of Arizona and one of the top 3 mortgage brokers that I always refer my clients to. So thanks, Price Mortgage, for my cutting board. I really appreciate it.
keep on dreaming about us, baby. Hey.
Now that I've got the bacon going, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the Italian sausage. I usually get mild, and the reason being is because I will add red pepper in, and I generally like to do as much as I want or as little as I want. It just kind of depends on what I'm looking for. So having the mild sausage, I feel like that gives me a blank canvas as far as my spice goes. So totally up to you how much or how little of the red pepper you want to add in. Next is going to be the minced garlic. This I like to add a little over a tablespoon, and then from here I'll be adding in the onion and then sauteing these 2 items together.
Words all around, and I'm dying to tell you. Well, I know that by now it is obvious, and that maybe I'm wasting my time, but I gotta try.
Now that I've got the bacon cooked, I'll go ahead and get this chopped up into little strips. If you don't have time to cook bacon, you can always use bacon bits. I've actually used that before, or even the pre-cooked bacon. It does taste a little bit different, but it's still just as good. Now that the bacon is all chopped up, it's time to start throwing everything in the crock pot to start cooking. First thing is going to be the sauteed onions and the minced garlic. Then it's going to be the Italian sausage, and then finally the bacon. Once you've got all that in there, just give it a good stir. Next, I like to do some black pepper, and again, however much or however little you want, totally up to you. Same goes with the salt. That day I was feeling like I needed just a little bit more, so I was a little bit generous. After you've got those 2 items in, then you're going to add the potatoes in, and from there you will then start to add in the chicken broth. The chicken broth, you're going to actually need 64 ounces of this. Depending on what you like, I usually like to do the low sodium medium because I know I'll probably add more salt in. So, but it's just what I like. It's totally up to you what you want to throw in, what kind of chicken broth. Just some kind of chicken broth in 64 ounces will do. Once you have those ingredients in, go ahead and give it one last final stir. From here, you will add about a half a cup of water, and that's just to make sure that it's not so greasy at the end. Then you're going to put the lid on, and depending on your day, you can cook this on low for 8 hours. That day, I was going to be home, so I decided to go ahead and cook it on high for 5 hours so that we can have it for dinner time, and it was so good. It did not last long in our house. I think this entire batch makes about 10 to 12 bowls of soup, and I want to say this entire batch was gone within 2 days. We ate it multiple times a day because it was just so good. Once you're done cooking on high or on low, the last step is to actually add in the kale. And depending on your size crock pot will determine how much kale you'll want to put in. I usually like to judge it by putting as much kale on top until I can't see anything else, and then giving it one final stir. And then from there, you will actually add in some form of your whipping cream. I've been cutting calories with summer coming up, so I actually switched over to half and half. But whether you use half and half or whipping cream, it still tastes just as delicious. After you put in that, you'll give it one final stir and then put it on the timer for 20 to 30 minutes. And after you're done with that, you will have the most delicious soup you have ever had. I truly see why Olive Garden leaves this on their menu. It is so good. I mean, just look at all of that. The bacon, the kale, the sausage, the potato. It is so good and so delicious. It will be a hit in the house, I promise.
You're hiding something. Do you let anyone get under your skin?
Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in Arizona real estate, give me a call. I would love to help. Take care, guys.